It began with a pitch, one that Prince Harry believed could redefine his legacy, honor his mother's memory, and perhaps repair the fraying threads of his reputation back in the UK. The plan? A global charity initiative, framed as a tribute to Princess Diana, built around pillars like mental health advocacy, youth empowerment, and international humanitarian outreach. Noble aims on the surface. But when the details of the pitch surfaced, the reality was jarring. Harry wasn't just asking for goodwill, he was requesting a staggering $15.5 million interest-free loan from British taxpayers to support the endeavor. He framed it as a legacy project, something that would tug at the nation's heartstrings. But the reaction from government officials was swift and scathing. The proposal was deemed a reputational risk, not only for the UK government but for the monarchy itself. There was no cross-party support, no British charitable registration, no formal backing from any UK institutions. Just a pitch from Archewell, a US-based foundation already under financial scrutiny, asking the British public to foot the bill in Diana's name. The response was brutal. British officials saw the red flags immediately. Timing couldn't have been worse. Prince Harry's popularity in the UK had plummeted. Following public attacks on the monarchy, family feuds aired on global platforms, and a lifestyle many saw as more Hollywood than humanitarian. For a non-resident prince living in a Montecito mansion, requesting taxpayer funds while simultaneously criticizing the very system that once supported him came across as tone-deaf, opportunistic, and, to many, insulting. Social media exploded. Hashtags like Diana for Dollars and Royal Freeloader trended globally. Public commentary wasn't just fueled by trolls or tabloids. Ordinary citizens voiced outrage. How could someone who claimed to want privacy repeatedly return to the spotlight only when funding or public sympathy was needed? And why was Diana's legacy, so revered and tragic, being leveraged once again, seemingly as a bargaining chip to boost Archewell's brand? This wasn't Prince Harry's first brush with philanthropic endeavors. Years ago, he co-founded Sentabale, a charity inspired by Diana's humanitarian work in Africa. It had noble beginnings, but later descended into chaos. Internal disputes, bullying allegations, power struggles, and court disputes tarnished its image. Harry eventually resigned, and what was once a beacon of his early activism began to look like a cautionary tale. His new pitch felt like déjà vu, a desperate pivot to revive something faltering. Even within the royal family, silence spoke volumes. King Charles, reportedly briefed on the proposal, declined to comment. Prince William, who continues to support the Diana Award, a credible UK-based youth charity, distanced himself entirely. There was no support, no nod, not even a subtle signal of endorsement. According to insiders, William viewed the entire venture as self-serving and reckless, a vanity project cloaked in sentimentality. Then came the financial questions. Analysts and watchdogs picked apart Archewell's filings. Less than 30% of its donations reached actual charitable programs. The rest, spent on consultants, branding, PR teams, and executive salaries. Meghan Markle's personal PR firm reportedly raked in over $200,000. Public trust evaporated fast. To many, it looked like a celebrity brand masquerading as a philanthropic vehicle, using Diana's name not as inspiration but as bait. And when people started connecting dots, Spotify canceling Meghan's podcast deal, Netflix scaling back their partnership, her cooking show flopping, the timing of this proposal looked less like a heartfelt tribute and more like a calculated reset attempt. If it was a reputational reboot, it backfired spectacularly. What could have been a meaningful moment became a spectacle of entitlement and disconnect. Critics called it manipulative. Commentators on morning shows tore into the logic. Royal biographers questioned Harry's understanding of public sentiment. A senior civil servant reportedly remarked that the proposal resembled a celebrity business plan more than a legitimate charitable initiative. It lacked third-party oversight, a functional governance model, or even consistent project activity. One charity initiative had zero activity in over a year. Another folded months after launch. The pitch wasn't just rejected, it was dissected, mocked, and ultimately deemed untrustworthy. The most damning assessment came from an anonymous official who said, "This isn't a nostalgia fund for ex-royals trying to launder credibility through their mother's name." That quote went viral. encapsulating the collective frustration. The proposal didn't read like a tribute, it read like a bailout. And even Princess Diana's longtime supporters began to turn. Her legacy, sacred and untouchable to many, was now being commodified for brand salvage. She never met Meghan. She couldn't have signed off on any of this, yet her name and image were repeatedly invoked whenever Archewell's reputation faltered. Polls reflected the damage. A 2025 UK survey showed Harry's favorability sinking below 30%, with Meghan's dipping even further. And these weren't staunch royalists expressing disdain. Many were once supporters, people who empathized with Harry's journey, who respected his decision to step away from royal duties, but those same people now saw a man who kept asking for more while giving less. A man increasingly viewed not as a reformer, but as a brand in crisis. Gone was the Harry who wore military fatigues, who launched the Invictus Games, who walked landmine zones in Diana's name. That Harry had conviction. That Harry inspired. The current version, polished, curated, reactive, feels like a hollow echo of the past. Critics weren't just questioning his finances, they were mourning the loss of authenticity. And so the final message from the UK government wasn't just about the money. It was about values, accountability, and trust. They're not paying for your redemption arc, they seem to say. Not with our money, not anymore.